The craziest part of the festival, though, was when I found someone streaming the game, a complete stranger, on YouTube, and it was 52 or so, like almost an hour long. And man, I cannot describe the fear. I don't know why. I always thought it would be so exciting to have someone play your game, like a complete stranger playing the game. When you're making the game, you're kind of dreaming of those moments. And when it finally became a reality, I was like, oh man, someone played my game that's just a complete stranger. It suddenly dawns on you like, oh, when you're dreaming about it, you're picturing them enjoying it. And then in the moment, I was like, wait a second, I might click this play button and the guy might be just tearing it apart. I mean, this game is terrible. Look at these terrible graphics. Look at the terrible music, the terrible writing. It could be they might just tear it apart. And so I'm not exaggerating. I couldn't click play for the longest time. I kept putting it off because I was like, oh, it was just so, I cannot describe the feeling to you. It almost feels like you want to rip your insides out just thinking about pressing play. I couldn't do it. But little by little, after waiting half a day, I think I finally pressed play for like the first 30 seconds just to see if trying to test the temperature. And I'm so glad I ended up watching it because, long story short, after doing a lot of pausing and playing and feeling cringy about watching it, I eventually watched the whole thing, and man, it was probably the highlight of the entire experience of making the game. Like, it's one of the best things I've done, had happen to me within the 12 years of making this game, because the guy who played it, let me give his channel, just in case someone's listening to this. It's Matt something. Let me find it here on YouTube. If you just search Billy Saves the World, it's the second result. But yeah, it's from Matt from the Awesome Duo. That's the guy who played it. It's 55 minutes long. And he could not have been a better person to play the game. I told my friends and family who were asking about it, and I was like, it went so perfectly for him that it almost felt scripted to me. It was like, this guy is doing everything exactly how I hope people experience the game. I wish he had a bigger audience, because I wish it'd just be nice to see more eyeballs on the game from someone playing it like this. And what I mean by that is that, like, he just did things in the order and like, just kind of a prime example of like, okay, this, like, I hope everyone happens to have a similar experience. And he wasn't even necessarily like blown, like he had a great time. He wasn't saying like, oh, this is the best thing of all time, but he even made fun of a few things, but in a good way. Like, he actually brought up some points that I was like, oh, that's really funny. That's a really funny point that I didn't consider. He was actually funny throughout it. He had good commentary, a lot of good jokes. He would poke fun at a few things. But the biggest compliment is that he usually only gave his games like 20 to 30 minutes. At the 30-minute mark, he decided to keep going, and he actually doubled the amount of time than most other demos he played. He went for almost a full hour, and he only stopped because there's a part in the demo that was kind of a mess up on my part. I didn't explain how to do something with the controls. I knew that was in the game, but I didn't have time to fix it before we pushed the demo out. So he basically had to stop playing. So it's a big compliment knowing that he was basically forced to stop playing, and he played the game for double the amount of time that he was planning to. And he said the story was great. He said that was a standout part, was the writing and the story, which is nice to hear, because that's really my main contribution apart from the design. And even the design got a compliment for the fact that he was doing things the way I hoped people do them. So that means my design is kind of working. Even though it's an open world game, you still try to guide people down a certain path. And he was kind of going through that path while feeling open and exploring that kind of thing. So, hey, thanks for listening to this clip of my podcast. I publish new episodes on the last Friday of every month at 12:45 p.m. PST for all premium members of my Patreon. My name is Cooper Bebo. I'm an actor, writer, and producer of film, television, and video games. Head to patreon.com/CooperBebo You can sign up for free, get access to my blog, or you can toss me a few dollars if you want to support me and get special bonuses like this very podcast, or you can subscribe to my YouTube. You'll continue to get free clips and a brand new video every single Wednesday. So whether you like to watch, listen, or read, I've got something for everyone. I've also got a video game called Billy Saves the World. Please check that out on Steam right now. I've got movie projects in the works. I update all of that stuff in Discord all of the time. Again, the basic channels are free to join. Just head to patreon.com/CooperBebo to get access. Thanks again, and I'll see you in the next clip.